What is up, guys? Today we're going to be doing the Dragon Quest III HD 2D remake, the 100% achievement, roadmap, and rating. So for this game, I didn't get any DLC. I don't know if there is any DLC, but I didn't get it. I didn't get any. There's no pre-order bonus. I just got the base game. This game also has no missable achievements, so you could all do it in one playthrough. And I completed it in 62 hours and 18 minutes, as you can see there. And I only did one playthrough of it. So there are 5 steps to 100% complete this game, or some people call them phases, other people call them steps. I just say step, but basically starting with step 1, what you first want to do is you want to pick the right party members. So I picked the thief and monster wrangler because you're gonna need them for the achievement. So thief lets you see hidden items including mini medals, and monster wrangler lets you pick up monsters without them being frightened away. Your last choice for a party member should be a healer. I chose a healer or priest, whatever they're called. But some people choose mage, fighter. It's up to you. Doesn't matter as long as you have a thief and a monster wrangler at your disposal to start this off. Step 2 is you want to start getting mini medals, monsters, items as you go along the game. So it's easier to get this with the thief and the monster wrangler in your party. While you play the game, you can start collecting these items and these monsters, and having them in your party makes it a lot easier. I have a tutorial on how to do that with the mini medals and monsters, and I did them as I was playing the game, so I didn't have to backtrack at all. That's the last thing you don't want to do, is backtrack. It doesn't make it hard, but to figure out what you are missing is a little hard, especially for the mini medals. The monster wrangler, the monsters are a little easier to see what you're missing, but for the mini medals, if you miss one, then you're just gonna have to go through every location and try to find it. Another thing is for the achievement, getting 200 different items. Do not sell your items and save your money. At the end of the game, if you're gonna 100% complete, you're gonna need as much money as you can. So do not sell anything until later on in the game, because you might need some extra cash. Definitely save all your money too. You don't need to buy armor. I feel like because of the mini medals and some of the monster arenas, you get pretty good items. So I never had to buy any items, and all the healing items and elixirs I got was just because I was finding them with the thief, so it made the game a lot easier. For step 3, I recommend not changing any of the vocation for your party members, because then you're going to have to restart the leveling process if you did not get all the spells or abilities for that set class. So just don't do it, level them up to the max. If you have a monster wrangler on your team, and I think you should be fine. That's really who carried my party when I was adventuring. The other thing is you don't want to run away from fights, because there's an achievement you have to fight 1,000. You have to win 1,000 fights, and that's not too hard, but especially because you're gonna be grinding towards the end, and the numbers really stack up. Plus, you're gonna need the levels too, so I wouldn't run away from a fight. I don't think I did run away from any fight until the end game, when I was just trying to get to the farming area. So for step 4, all you have to do is complete the game. If you're gonna 100% complete the game, then you're going to end up doing all the side missions and all that little extra stuff just to get some items you need for the end game content. Other than that, most of the achievements you get, you will get them through the story, so you don't gotta worry about it. Just complete the game. Step 5 is just change the difficulty to Draki Quest. That way you don't get knocked out, you can farm, and you can also, if you're having trouble with the end game boss, you don't have to worry about dying. You can just worry about dealing as much damage as you can. You are gonna have to grind again if you didn't get all the abilities and spells. You would just have to grind the levels out and just hunt any missing achievements. Moving on to the ratings, 10 being the most fun and 1 being the most boring or difficult. I like to rate these to determine if I would play the game again, if they're doable, and all that good stuff. These are my opinions, so everything is subjective. What I find fun may not be what you guys like. I do like JRPGs, and I think this one was kind of short. not kind of short, but it definitely took a lot less time to 100% complete than the other ones. And just want to say spoiler alert, because we are going to be talking about the end game content and the story. And I also like to put pictures of the achievements you get along the way. So, here's your warning. Starting off with multiplayer, I do like to tell everybody to do the multiplayer achievements first, just because at the start, when the game first comes out, a lot of people are hopping online, and it's a lot easier to get multiplayer achievements then, rather than down the line, a few months down, when the game dies or nobody's playing it. So this one's pretty simple. There is no multiplayer achievement, so you can play this game at any time. There is no rush. So the game has 42 achievements in total, and I got 30 just by playing the game and finishing the story, which is a pretty good chunk, meaning that I didn't have to grind for some of the achievements that you might have to grind for. And I'm gonna go ahead and put the story achievements that you could get just by playing the game and completing the story, and then I'm gonna go ahead and put the achievements you guys might miss if you're not doing the steps I mentioned. You might miss some of them if you're not, collecting items or saving up your money. So really quick, just by completing the main story, you get 17 achievements out of 42. I also got 13 more achievements out of this just by playing the game, and which helped because I didn't have to grind. So, and I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys the 13 other achievements I got. So these next 13 achievements I got just by playing the game, which brings me up to a total of 30 out of 42, which is pretty good. I didn't have to grind for these. I kind of just got them by playing the game. And you could also miss these achievements, which is why I'm putting them in a separate slide, because I kind of got these out of just luck or random encounters. Starting off with join the party. If you're doing this solo, you obviously won't get this. Item Aficionado. If you're not saving your items and not using the deep to collect them along the way, then later on you'll have to grind for those. Puffection, got that one by mistake. Just saw weird building, went for it, ripped off. I did buy items, and then I got the same item in the mini medal rewards for collecting. I think it was 20, 25 or something like that. So yep, definitely got ripped off. Regal Ruler and Wakey-Wakey, those were side quests that I just happened to get, or maybe they were part of the story. I don't remember, but I think they were side missions. Mucho Ado about money. That one was pretty easy. All you have to do is the monster missions, the monster arena, sorry, and you will get enough money for all of that. Sparkly Spotter, that one was also pretty easy too. I just went for all the sparkly spots along the game until I got the achievements, and then I just kind of stopped. Sage Advice and Juggling Jobs, I got those two at the same time because my priest was the first one I got all skills and abilities, and then I changed the vocation to Sage, and I was able to get both of them. Metallic Masher, kind of just got that one randomly. I encountered a metallic slime, a metal slime, and was able to get the achievement. Tomes and Tones of Treasure, that one's pretty easy too. I mean, you'll find a bunch of treasure chests. I just opened every one I got, even if it was a mimic. I still just opened them. I didn't care. And the reason I put Brilliant Battler on top is because I didn't get this one into the end game, but I kind of also just got it. I didn't have to I didn't have to farm fights or do anything like that. I just got it by playing the end game content because I was farming, so it was pretty easy. So I'm gonna give the story a 7 out of 10. I mean, this is what you expect from an older game. The story is a little simple. You're a hero. You're trying to stop the bad guy. This game is a remake, and they weren't gonna retell the story a different way. But the story is pretty fun. It's enjoyable. It's pretty funny at some points, and it did surprise me on a lot of stuff actually. This is my first time playing Dragon Quest 3, and I did enjoy it a lot. So the story does get a 7 out of 10. Moving on to the grind, I got the rest of the 12 achievements here. So most of these are end game. Besides, I even think Find Your Keeper was a little end game because some of the monsters you had to fight there were a little harder. But and Undoing Death, I never, if I died, I never revived myself at the church you lose money, I always did the revive or load a save file or last save. But most all of these are pretty much end game content, and if you are going for you're trying to do end game content, you'll just get these as you go. One thing though that was the only thing I had to really farm was the Finder's Keeper because I didn't know what the heck they were talking about. The Able Conjurer because at the end I did not I was still missing a few levels to get all the vocations abilities, and I think I missed the monster too in Made of Monsters awarded for filling up the defeated monster list. I think there was one or two I just never encountered, so I had to go back and kind of get them. Everything else was pretty simple and easy. This is also where you will change it to Draki quest, so you don't have a harder time fighting the end game boss. So for the grind, I'll give it an 8 out of 10 just because it wasn't that bad. I don't, most of the times grinding in the game is usually not the most enjoyable part, and sometimes some games you play don't require you to grind, and they will get a higher rating like a 10 out of 10 or a 9 out of 10. But this game does require some grind. It is not that bad. I think there are metal slimes and some other monsters that you do get a pretty good chunk of XP, and it was doable. I didn't have to grind that much, but then again, I wasn't running from any fights. I was pretty high level when I was fighting some of the monsters, and the Monster Wrangler did carry. Shout out to them, that class. But for a JRPG, the grind wasn't that bad. It was not enjoyable, but it was pretty fast and simple. I think I only spent like maybe 2 hours grinding out of the whole time, so that's not bad, especially for a JRPG. So for the difficulty, I will give it a 7 out of 10 just because the game is pretty easy and simple at the start and the middle, but around the late game and end game content, it just kind of skyrockets, so it doesn't feel like a smooth transition. So you're kind of forced to grind a little bit. And the reason I'm giving it a 7 out of 10 is because you could stay with whatever you picked, or you could change it to the Draki difficulty, which I do recommend doing that for the end game content. That way you could just go ahead and finish the game. So with the Draki quest difficulty, you don't faint from battles, so you could just be at 1 and you don't have to worry about status effects, you don't have to worry about healing, you could just dish out damage and all that, which is what you want, because at the end game content, end game bosses, the amount of turns it takes you to fight and finish a monster really does matter. So it's very doable. You could always lower down the difficulty. It isn't that bad. 7 out of 10 just because it doesn't feel like a smooth transition. So for fun, I did have fun playing the game. I enjoyed the achievements. I especially enjoyed the achievements because you get most of them just by playing the game and exploring, being curious. You get some of them by completing the end game content, which is a nice treat because I was surprised with how the story would go, or some locations you just find and never revisit it until the end game content, and it was for a specific reason. So fun, 9 out of 10. I would not replay it though because I usually don't play JRPGs. I don't think I replayed any JRPG. I played in the past 100% complete because it's just a single player, one time type of thing. There's no replay value on it, which is fine. The game is older and it's fun. So overall, I would give this an 8 out of 10 in achievement hunting. There is no multiplayer achievements, so you don't have to worry about playing the game after its launch or when there is, all the players are just getting into the game. You can play the game whenever. Story is a 7 out of 10. It is a little basic, but it's fun, it's simple. Grind, there is not a lot of grind in the game, which is always nice. Most of the things come naturally. The only time you do gotta grind is the end game content in levels and other stuff. Difficulty is because of the grind. From early to mid game, it's okay. Later on, end game and post game, you do have to grind for some levels. You do feel like you're under leveled, even though you haven't been escaping or fleeing from fights. The difficulty just ramps up, but it's alright because you could always turn down the difficulty, so it's not that bad. Fun, it was pretty fun. I would definitely recommend this to people who are trying to get into JRPG, for people who are trying to achieve and hunt, just because it is a fun time and it is pretty simple to do. It's not fun. So overall, gets an 8 out of 10. If you enjoyed this video or like this type of content, please like and subscribe. It really helps me out. See you.